Reddit Ask Me Anything by Reddit for life. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe as I'm new and need all the support I can get. I'm a blind person and have been for almost 9 years now. Ask me anything. Have your dreams changed since you lost your sight? What kinds of things do you dream about now? And what things do you see in your dreams? My dreams consist of feelings, sounds, like conversations and such, and sensations, like fear or joy. I only remember the colors gold and green, so occasionally I'll remember a flash of either of those, very rarely though. Thanks for your question equals. How do you know if it's a dream or not? Because I'm asleep. I wake up just like you do. I become aware of my surroundings. I know I'm not dreaming because I wake up. And because dreams aren't that vivid for me equals. How did you become blind? I have PVD in both eyes, heightening the risk of detached retina. I was born with a disease called retinitis pigmentosa. I was born with bad eyesight and progressively lost it over a period of time. I was 11 when it fully went. Thanks for asking equals. Thanks for your openness. What's the scariest part of living without sight? Honestly, other people. A majority of blind women are sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Being taken advantage of while I'm around people is something I'm afraid of. As for blindness itself, not much. It's just my normal daily experience. My only fears are related to other people equals. I never thought of this until now. It makes me incredibly sad. Just yesterday I was discussing with my friend how every woman has fear of being raped, and the thought creeps up in so many situations. Something we start feeling from a young age, and is always there. It, unfortunately, makes sense that for blind women the fear and risk is greater. Yes, it is a terrible thing. I always take every precaution to keep myself safe at all times though, so let's hope everything will turn out okay. You have retinitis pigmentosa and went blind by 11? I did a semester-long research project on the biology and genetics of retinitis pigmentosa, though I'm sure you know way more than I do, of course, and I had never seen anything about the possibility of being totally blind before puberty. The majority of sufferers maintain a decent amount of vision, albeit as a tunnel or donut, into their 30s. Were your doctor surprised by how fast your disease progressed? Were you? Did you ever do genetic testing to determine what mutation you have and whether you could pass it on? Yes, it was very surprising and unusual. I'm definitely aware that I'm in the small minority. I didn't know, since basically forever I would go blind relatively early, so I was able to prepare. It was still a scary thing though. It's also great you've done research on the disorder. My brother went blind in 30s. He had some disease too that eventually caused blindness. He doesn't know what his kids look like. Do you use a guide dog or walking stick? My brother is still very sensitive to bright lights and loud noises. I use a guide dog. I couldn't live without my little Big XD Angel Gumbo. He's literally my lifeline. I'm really sorry to hear about your brother's disease. I'm assuming he still has light perception. I have a little of that as well. I'm not super sensitive to it though. I can just detect it. My brother had 2 dogs at different times, but for the last 15 years has just used a guide stick. Whatever works for him. We're all different after all equals. How did you type this? Is it true that your other senses heighten Aguli's 1? How bad of an effect did this have on your life? I type just like anyone else, with my fingers. If you mean how do I see and respond to things, voiceover. It's a feature on all Apple devices. It makes them accessible to the blind, which is awesome. It's true in a way. I rely on my other senses more, so I'm more used to relying on them, but they don't physically become stronger. A dramatically terrible effect. I had no confidence anymore, no friends, never left the house, extreme anxiety and was suicidal at one point. I did recover though, and I'm happier now than I've ever been. D. That is amazing. You are a very inspirational person. Fellow Redditor, I'm glad you found ways around this problem. Good luck with life, man. You have my best wishes. Thank you. Although I'm not a man XD, the sentiment still means a lot though. Really dumb question, but what is dating like as a blind person? Not a dumb question at all. It's quite dangerous. A majority of blind women are sexually assaulted in their lifetime. We are very vulnerable, and so I have to be careful while dating. I never meet anybody by myself. I'm never alone with someone I don't trust. I never eat or drink anything that I'm not in physical contact with at all times. People are sneaky. In a way it's nice, because you meet people who would normally be passed up due to their looks, who are really great people. Since I can't see, I don't find people ugly. So, let's just say bittersweet. SLPT, if you're ugly, just date a blind person. Got it? Hey op, are you single? Smooth af. What's your favorite dinosaur? Allosaurus maybe? Probably spelt that awfully, XD or T-Rex. I actually wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a child, so that's funny you asked that. For what it's worth, you absolutely nailed the spelling of Allosaurus. This entire AMA is fascinating and really gives me a new perspective on those without sight. I saw in another comment you're an advocate for the disabled, and I'm just stunned at how positive you are. I'm disabled as well, though not blind. I use a wheelchair, but it's really refreshing to run across another disabled person with such a great attitude. I have another. Do you turn lights on at your house? And without checking the switch would you know if they were on? I do. I have moderate light perception, so lights are comforting to me. I enjoy being in light personally. I don't need to check switches. I can tell if a light is on and where it is equals. I can also see the broad shadow of a person if they stand between me and said bright light, so I can look at them easier. So yes, I love having lights on. It's also a courtesy to who I live with. Does being blind affect your experience with eating and things like that? For example, how do you pick what foods to get at the supermarket? I prefer to go shopping with a friend or family member. They help me pick the things I wish to eat. I have eating preferences of course, and I'd imagine being blind does affect how I eat. But honestly I've never compared to a sighted person. Oh, something to think about. I'll be sure to find out. I prefer to go shopping with a friend or family member. They help me pick the things I wish to eat. I have eating preferences of course, and I'd imagine being blind does affect how I eat. But honestly I've never compared to a sighted person. Oh, something to think about. I'll be sure to find out. Are there particular things you can't enjoy due to your blindness? And what does being blind look like? Does it have a color? Is there any way to describe it so a regular person can understand it? Well, visual beauty, paintings, beautiful photographs, breathtaking views. There are lots of things I can't experience due to blindness, but I don't get depressed about it. I don't remember much when it comes to sight, so it's not like I'm missing anything. What do you miss seeing? I don't remember seeing, so I don't miss it personally. I do hear what sighted people say about what they're seeing, and it fascinates me though. Like just being able to know things about people just by looking at them. That is just like a superpower to me. And being able to just know what things are from a huge distance. And flowers of course. They smell and feel so great, so I bet they'd look really nice too. I have an impaired sense of smell, so I mostly don't smell anything. When someone says something smells really good I try to smell it, and usually I get nothing. On the other hand I'm a nurse, so when there's a really bad smell like C. diff, GI bleed, tissue necrosis, I don't usually smell that either. Wow, I'm sure that has its ups and downs. Do you work? And if not, can you / would you? And what kind of work would it be? Sorry if this is a dumb or repeated question. I did read most responses, I'm just curious. I do. Currently I'm studying law, but I work as well as a model. It's nothing spectacular, but it pays the bills. XD. I also do public speaking / other work for some charities for the disabled. I'm fairly gifted in speaking ability and I love spreading awareness of disability and building bridges, so it's a great fit for me. Thanks so much for your interest. Can I dig in further? What kind of modeling do you do? And that's super awesome you do the public speaking. I could never stand in front of any amount of people and do something like that. Thank you for answering my questions. Have a great weekend, friend. Fashion, and occasionally, ads for charities, although the latter is not often, and I do that for free. Being a moderately attractive, apparently, disabled girl makes companies scramble for UXD they want. The diversity look goody points. I'm somewhat of a token, but I get paid generously so I don't much mind personally. And I used to be super bad with it too. Just took lots of practice. Not seeing the people also helps XD. I was in the back of my mind thinking not seeing people would be helpful, but my imagination would still somehow get the best of me. And that's awesome that you make money, and it's oddly ironic. Not trying to be rude, I promise, cause obviously you haven't seen you. Is there any procedures or any future hopes of a procedure that will give you vision again? No, I'm not chasing or betting on imaginary cures and procedures and stuff. It's only made me miserable in the past, honestly. Not a nice thing to do. Do you accept that you are blind, or are you going to pursue regaining your eyesight through advancements in technology? Essentially, are you concerned about seeing again, or is that not something you focus on at all? I used to be fixated on nothing but exactly that. Then I realized I was wasting away chasing something ethereal that wouldn't fix anything. And I accepted it. I'm not seeking a cure for my blindness. This is me now. This is my world. I'm not going to trade it. That's just my opinion though, of course. Is there anything you want to know about, like what something looks like? Might sound corny, but my family's faces. I don't remember what my parents looked like anymore. I'd give anything to be able to have a visual memory of their faces. To be able to suck up every detail, every wrinkle and skin flaw in their smiles and everything else. What a gift it would be. I've accepted that's probably not going to happen though, so I'm not chasing imaginary treatments around in hopes of having it happen. But if it did, it'd be a dream come true. Thanks for your question, friend D. What about working out and exercising? Is it all weightlifting? I do both strength training as well as cardiovascular exercise every morning. I'm an acrobat, so I also do intense calisthenics and stretching in the morning as well. I'm kind of a health nut XD. Shit, that's impressive. All these years I've been hampered by my sight. That's something to think about. XD, I was really into physical activity before I fully lost my vision anyways, so it wasn't related to my sight. But yeah, I never know. I think many seeing people believe that blind people experience the same thing as when seeing people close their eyes, just like darkness and black. I've heard that wasn't true, but it's hard for me to imagine. Like, is there a difference between darkness and blindness? Can you remember the difference from before you went blind? Hope that makes sense. Oh, I'm not sure. I personally still have some light perception, so I can't see per se, but I can detect light. So my world isn't always nothingness. For me it is somewhat like blackness when there's diminished light or it's nighttime. I've had night blindness since I was born, so I was just naturally accustomed to not seeing during the night. For me personally, it was similar to almost like looking through a keyhole that slowly got smaller and smaller. My disease lost my peripheral vision first, till eventually I couldn't see at all, besides moderate light perception. So for me personally, that was the case. Keep in mind, blindness is more of a symptom though, and can be caused by many different things, and be experienced differently by different people, depending on their disease/circumstances equals. Thanks so much for your question. What's a common misconception about blind people? That we don't know how to use modern technology, like phones and computers. That we all walk around wearing mismatched clothes, wearing big dark sunglasses, and we don't look after our appearance. It's quite common among portrayals of blind people in really any form of media, which is a shame. We are like any group, we are just like everyone else. Especially us youngins XD, we use Twitter and Reddit, we watch YouTube and Netflix, we text, etc. Just like everyone else. We can dress well, enjoy makeup, and love fashion, like me, even if we are blind. Which is why I'm so passionate about breaking down walls and building bridges, so people can realize how similar as blind people are to everyone else. Hope this answer sweeted your question. I hope you enjoyed this video and learning about what it's like being blind. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome videos like this.